the light is terrible. Why is it so terrible? Why is this light so bad? Am I green? I'm turning that off. I'm illuminated by the gentle glow of my monitors. And is this thing working yet? Testing, testing, testing. Is this on? It's 8 seconds of streaming, buffering. I guess the buffer is about 15 seconds. I'm curious to see how much this captures. That's about, maybe it's 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Well, okay. It's time for a little virtual co-working. I've been like falling asleep all day, low energy, doing chores. And now it's like 9, it's almost 10 p.m. my time. And because I've been napping so much today and drinking water and trying to figure out why I'm in this low energy state. If I go to sleep now, I'm just going to wake up in another 2 hours. So I might as well try to do some work. And the work I'm thinking of doing is related to learning how to do something, which is what I want to do is like I'm using this program called Open Broadcaster. Let me show you what it is. OBS, as it's called. So it looks like this, and you have a bunch of things here on the left side that are the scenes. And as I click each of these scenes, and there's quite a few of them now, it shows a different view in this window here. This is the display plus chat scene. And I have, like, now I'm going to click on the Oxcam scene, and that makes this alternate webcam bigger. I have these new split screen things, so I can show two things at once. Then I have the one that's more even in the middle, and then I have the one when the PC is running, I can like stream the PC stuff over here. And then there's app windows, and all this front slate, and there is the I'm away from keyboard thing. So there's all these things I had to click on, and if I'm working on stuff, switching over to this monitor screen is kind of a pain in the butt. So I had the thought that I could use this program. There's a program called ControllerMate, which I use purely to kill the mouse acceleration that is baked into Mac OS for some reason, because Steve Jobs hates mouse users. Rest in peace, Steve. But anyway, ControllerMate, in addition to being able to override this mouse acceleration in the mouse driver, what mouse acceleration is, if you're not familiar with it, is when you move the mouse like a slow speed. So like, let's look at this mouse down here. Move all this crap off this window so I can see what's going on. So, okay, so if you're looking at the lower right, here's my mouse. If you move the mouse slowly, then the cursor moves slowly. If you have mouse acceleration active, if you move it the same distance quickly, it jumps faster. And for some reason, people think this is a good idea. I think it works well in trackpads, or for people who are just kind of clumsily kind of clucking on things and aren't interested in speed and efficiency. But if you want to be fast at something and don't want to learn some horrible acceleration curve that's arbitrary and different between the Macintosh and the PC and any other system, what you want is linear mouse response. And video gamers like this too. If I move the mouse this much, the cursor moves exactly this much. So then I can do very quick moves back and forth, instead of, I think what a lot of people do is they kind of move it in the general area and then they kind of slow down and they kind of click on it. And I think that's the issue for, that's the reason why people or even why mass acceleration exists. Some marketing person probably thought it was a good idea. Or some usability person probably thought, yeah, that would be helpful for people, and it probably is. But for people like me who want to move to one space really fast and click on the button immediately, it's terrible. And also in games, it screws you up, because you might be moving very precisely, moving back and forth, and then something happens you had to react to quickly. So you want to move that distance quickly, but what happens is it shoots you way farther than you needed to go, and you're dead. And this is why we dislike it. Anyway, long story short, with mouse acceleration, this program I'm using right now called ControllerMate on the Macintosh also has the ability to recognize, to control MIDI devices. And I was looking up if there was a way to use the like a MIDI controller to send another signal to a program, for example, to have it switch scenes. So I have no idea how that works, and I don't even know if OBS Studio even supports it. But one of the keys to this, other than learning how to use this ControllerMate thing, is to actually figure out how Applescript works. And I know nothing about Applescript. Applescript is a application scripting language that's been around, I think, since System 6, maybe. It's really old. I have no idea how old. It's been around forever. It predates Mac OS X, and what I'm thinking of doing is actually live learning Applescript. Because it'll be interesting to see just where I'm stumbling on stuff. So let me spend 15 minutes on this and see how far we get. And so I'm setting a timer. And I just typed in Applescript. In this day of the internet, we can actually search for stuff like this. Whereas in the old days, you would have to buy a book and read it and hope it made sense. So, alright. I am not sure where to start on this. So I am just starting randomly by Googling things until ideas come to mind. So ultimately, I want to send AppleScript use AppleScript to control a program. But what is controllable in a program? I guess one way to see this might be to look. Let's click on this OS X automation link and see what we have. Let's see. What is AppleScript? The language used to automate the blah blah. It occurs to me I'm going to make notes here on this. I want to probably find the AppleScript reference and see how good it is. If it's like a lot of recent references, it's probably alphabetical and useless. If it's a decent one, it'll be grouped by function, and if it's really, really good, it will have an architectural explanation for why it's grouped that way. But that would be hoping for a lot. The original Apple developer documentation, which came in these big books, those used to be glorious. Those are really, really good pieces of documentation that would explain the big picture of how it worked and the specific components, what their specific function was, how they related to other components, and the order in which they actually did their job. These days, people don't write like that. I don't know why. Probably they aren't developers. Or they're developers who learn by copying scripts. Or I'm not smart enough to learn just by looking at the API and then trying stuff and hoping it works. I kind of want to have the underlying theory of why a system is the way it is. Anyway, let's see. Now I'm had to force myself to read this carefully. AppleScript is a language to automate the actions of the Macintosh operating system in many of its applications, whether the task is simple as copying a file or as complex as building a real estate catalog. This stinks of TechWriter. AppleScript can perform the requisite actions for you with intelligence, controlling applications and making decisions based on observations from. I guess that makes sense. It allows you to do stuff with logic. And this whole paragraph feels like. Anyway, this is what people use it. These are all. I guess this, like, if you're not familiar with AppleScript at all, and you needed to know what it was and you stumbled upon it, this would be good. Good to know. This tutorial is really turning me off, though. But I think if you're looking up AppleScript, you already know that it can control stuff, and you want to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of it. And this is designed for This is really written by non-programmers. Okay, here's the first actual bit of useful information. There is a script editor application. I guess Applescript must be designed for non-developers, so it's probably it's a script language. So most likely it, it may be written in a way that is very English-like rather than logical, which may have some issues. We'll see. So you run them within the script editor application. Script files are launched from an application script menu or from the Mac OS X system-wide script menu utility. Script menu utility. We are mapping entry points into this whole Applescript thing. Script applications. Applets are launched like other applications by double-clicking their icons. Okay, they're kind of like batch files. Applets can be double-clicked. Applescript is based on the concept of scriptable objects belonging to or being contained in other scriptable objects, such as a file in a folder that belongs to the hard disk. Okay. Understanding the relationship between scriptable objects is essential to learning how to write scripts. It can be summarized in the following statements. On the Macintosh computer, everything is an object. Okay, that's good. This is not unfamiliar to me. Everything belongs to, is related to, or is contained in, is part of something else. Okay, that's again an object-oriented thing. Okay, let's continue. Properties and values. This is basic object-oriented stuff. So knowing what the objects are in the operating system is essential. For example, in an interlocation file length, the only finder element that has a property describing a location. Now, this is the only one. Let's see. So there's a bunch of unique objects. So this is all pretty basic stuff. Let me see. Script editor. You'll use the script editor application installed in the system in the Applescript folder in the applications folder. Alright, let's see if we can find this thing. Script editor. Boom. Yay! We have... Oops. What's it doing? It's asking me to load something? To actually edit a script? I just clicked done. I think it's... Oh, it was running. Is it still running? Let me close all this other crap. Don't need that open. Don't know why that's running. What is that running? Or is that the script? Is this? No. Close that. Need that, need that. There's the script editor. So I'm assuming I can make a new script. Oh, these templates. Aperture, mail, messages. Let's just explore this way, don't we? Script. Let's make a new script. Alright, so we have a new script window. Let's go back to... Did I lose my window? I guess I closed it by accident. History. Script editor. After starting up, it displays a multi-pane window known as a script window. This script window comprised 2 panes, script text at the top, script description, script result, or script log. Okay. So I type commands up here, and this is the output, I guess. Maybe there'll be a sample. Our first script. Okay, now we're starting to do something. Form as tell statements. The tell statement is a single line that begins with tell. So tell a reference object to be forward. So tell object action. It's a message passing. Message passing protocol. And then I guess addressing objects and then sub-objects would be something that I want to look at. Tell Finder to close every window. Oh, is that the actual syntax? Oh, that's awful. We are not going to run this thing, though, because I don't want the Finder to close every window, because I'm using them right now. It's enclosed in quotation marks. Names are always quoted. Textual data. Tell Finder to open the startup disk. Okay, let's try that one. That seems okay. Tell application Finder to open the startup disk. Really? Okay, and then how do I run it? Click the run button, which is, I guess, this. And run the script. Oh, it opened the startup disk. All right. So a few things are immediately apparent. This scripting language is very much like earlier script languages like HyperTalk, and to an extent, early versions of Lingo. Lingo, which was from Macromedia Director, I think. No, is that some ancient script language I somehow remember using? And the way that it works is it has some interesting markers. Like, for example, to open, to is an indicator of this is extraneous text just to make it look more like English. To open, this is an action. Actions always begin with to, I'm thinking. To action. Tell is the keyword for two subtypes. One is the object type, or the object dictionary is probably pulling from. Object collection. And then the name of the object in the collection. That's the address. To action is the defined action of that object, probably. And then the parameters are the parameters. That's my guess of how it's structured. And so the idea is now you need to learn what all these things, what for the application finder, what are all its implemented commands and what are all its implemented objects that go with it. I wonder what happens if there's more than one command. I guess we'll find out. Let's continue this. The first property finder is its name property. Okay, tell application finder to get the name of front window. I wonder if I can do this. And we'll run both of them. It does. Okay, and we see the output there. I wonder how you comment in it. How do you make a comment in Applescript? Let's do comment. 2 dashes. Oh, I was right. I just guessed at that. Or, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I can do an end and start tell. Features comment syntax. Yeah. Let's comment that out. I'm not even sure why I guessed it would be that. Probably because it was the least C++ way of doing it I could think of. So anyway, I'm back over here to get front window. What's this? To get the name. Alright, so to get the, that's another modifier. To get, that means to return probably to return a value. Up front. So yeah. To get the, it's like learning an actual language. What I don't like about this is, well, I guess we'll just have to see more examples of this. Just copy all these examples as I form my opinion of how this is structured. The front finder window, Macintosh HD. That's interesting. Okay. Index property. If you're writing a script that uses multiple computers, the name property refers to the finder window. It's not always the most reliable way to locate a specific window. Possible the two windows may have the same name. So you might want to grab its index property. Finder front window always has an index of 1. So this must be the Z order sorting. The Z order that windows are drawn. Option return. Single line statement. Open the startup disk. The index. Open the startup disk. Get the index of the front Finder window. Let's try that. Let's copy and comment all these things out. Let's bring this one back in. So that will open the startup disk. And then if we run this, I'm not sure if it will output anything. Well, it does output. So that's index 1, which is always the front window. That's the result. So can I store the result anywhere? Note the use of the special caret in the script in the following example. Open a second window. Tell application finder to open home. These are special terms. Then tell application to get in the front. Oops, it's been 15 minutes. Let's go another 15. So that's interesting. The syntax has changed. I guess it more normalized it. So here we're opening the startup disk, then we're opening the home folder, which opened up on a different desktop here. But we're trying to find the window Macintosh HD, and it has a different result. That's what they're saying, because now it's behind. It's no longer the frontmost window. The last window opened is the frontmost window. Let's see. Find the name of Finder Window 1, Finder Window 2. Alright. I can tell this is going to be descriptive value index. Alright. So so there's a bunch of different modifiers to get the index of my original theory that it was a simple, like 2 is the action and the second part was the parameters. I don't think really quite, it's not quite as simple as that. I mean, you have things like to get is, I think, maybe a modifier. It's a different kind of command. And then there's modifiers for the collections. Yeah. The first. I mean, there might be something that gets all things. First, last, before the first. Get the instance before. So yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. It's trying to use... I take back my previous disdain for this. This is actually kind of sophisticated. So here we have things like... And I should probably... I'm going to open a text file and just keep this someplace. I guess I'll put it in my Quiver notebook. And let's see. Learning. Is there a place I have for this? I guess I'll make a new one. So many things though. I have too many things. New shared notebook. Learning stuff. Or first, let's call this first learnings. And I'll call this Applescript. And we will make this a code block. I just want to go little reference here. Just to get an idea of what the keywords are. Finder window 1. Yeah, so I wonder how they write. You could change the index values? That's interesting. Tell to set the index to 2. Ah, now we're actually doing some different stuff. Instead of get the, now we have set. This should be wrong. My core notebooks are usually on the left. Yeah. Just copying examples. That's interesting because target. To get the target, what's a target? Is contents displayed. Target folder is contained with a users folder. To get the target of the front window. Coming out all this stuff. Let's run this. And startup disk of that's weird. That's not what I expected. Returns folder. Name of your home directory. To get the front finder window. Or the front window, let's say. Not is that right? Here it says the front index, front finder window. Here it's saying get the front window. That might be slightly different. Startup disk of application finder. Now the finder is what controls everything, I think, on the desktop. So the front window might not necessarily belong to... What is this? Let's happens if I change this to front finder window. Do I get a different result? Can I command or return and run the script here? No. File, is there a shortcut for running? Script, run, command R. Result, start application finder. Let me comment this out. Finder window, ID of application finder. Let's put one of these in the front and run this again. Okay. What happens? Let's say application Chrome. Get the front window. This run? Window ID 1 of application Google Chrome. Google Chrome. Now it figured out the name of the application. That's interesting. That's helpful. Trick, script getting the value of the target property. Not sure what this target is. Tell application finder tell application finder to set the target of the front finder window to the startup disk. The target is still not really telling me what this does. And I think we lost our... I guess we need to have a front finder window in the first place, which might be this. Startup disk, let's move this to a different file and run this again. It's still... The target, what does that mean? That might not be the front finder window. I don't see another window though. Set the target of the front to the start. Oh, it's setting it to the startup disk. Let's get the target of the front. Then get the target of the front finder window. If we run this, it still says that. Applications. Now if I run it, folder applications of startup disk, that's okay. So that's working as expected. So I guess the target in this sense is like what file object it's looking at, what folder is being displayed. application targets. It's probably specific to the kind of application. So what is the target of Google Chrome? Tell application Google Chrome to get the target of the front window. What will that do? Can't make target window 1 into type specifier. I guess to get, when does it work? Window ID 1. Can you click on any of these things? To get the front, get the, I guess this is where we need to know what all the properties are. There must be a way of dumping all the properties. So here we have folders. I'm just skip all this Finder stuff. Set the target of front window of folder. Alright. It's very verbose language, but maybe it's alright. Continue. Toolbar visible property. Tell application to set toolbar visible of the, okay. Yep. Status bar visible. Status bar visible. It's the same. Or width. Current view property. It's the, okay. Position, you can move windows around, I guess. That's kind of an interesting one. Oops. Tail, run, front Finder window. And then we can do this to set it. We should move it. And it did. Vertical offset exception. Bounds. You're probably using the bounds property. It's the size and position. Verbs used with windows. Get. Set. Open, close, select. Okay. Desktop setup script. I could use this Applescript just to set up things the way I like it. That's kind of fun. Tell blocks. Okay, that's useful. Tell blocks. Tell application. So you can and then you can have all this stuff. End tell. It's kind of computery sounding. What else can this do? Nested tell blocks. Good. Saving the script. Save this. I wonder if it'll show up as a clickable thing on my desktop. My script! Where did it go? Probably went to the other window. Here it is. It looks suspiciously like a text. Oh, I can set. Oh, actually, I have the options. I can save as, or rather, save. Oops. Revert to, duplicate, rename. Actually, it doesn't look like I get that option. How do I set it to? I can change it to choosing application. Well, there's no save as command? Duplicate, maybe. No, maybe I can save as. Oops. That's a my script copy. Let's close that one. Let's file, save. And file format, application. Let's save that. Now I have a copy of it here. And if I run it, what happens? Nothing! Or it probably doesn't, it does probably, it looks like it runs and then quits. It probably doesn't emit anything. So, okay. That's it. that I can add to my toolbar. Principles remain the same. What else is on this site? This is the whole thing? Automate. Betterment of the automation community. Okay. So I have a basic idea of how this works. You find out the name of the application is, and then I lose the script window. Let's try some explorative stuff then. Let's make a new one. Tell application. That's what it, to get the front window. Will this work? Can't get window 1. OBS got an error. So OBS received something. Let me see if there's an OBS reference. OBS script, Applescript reference. Applescript tune out commands reference. Let's do another 15 minutes. There might be how to get list of all commands Applescript object. So let's try that. How do I find the Applescript commands available for a particular app? Go to File, Open Dictionary, select the app you want to find out more about. File, Open Dictionary. Ah, this is good. I like this. Open broadcast. Oh, I'll like it if this shows up. I imagine each of them has a register. Uh-oh. I think we had to browse for it. Browse. Applications. Open broadcaster. Where is this app located? This is the part of the show in which OBS app. Why doesn't it show up? So not all of them have dictionaries? Uh-oh. That does not bode well for what we want to do. Let's see. Now let's just open one of them and see what them. So standard suite, save, open. All right. If it doesn't show up in the, click the browse button to find. If it has automated actions available, it will load in your dictionary then. Huh. OBS Automator. This does not look promising. It says, I guess it's not scriptable. Let me see if like open broadcaster, studio, Macintosh, Applescript. Let's take a look. Mac support. Now plug in. This goes Applescript. Now it writes to a text file. Okay. It doesn't look like Open Broadcaster accepts it. I wonder if there's general application stuff that can be done. So, let's see. Open Dictionary. I wonder what the generic standard suite. Open, print, select, finder items, window classes. How can I target a specific application? Let me see. Applescript Send keyboard command to application. How do I automate a key press in Applescript? When was this written? Activate application. This is it. Repeat. That might be interesting to try. Let's see. Can I activate application OBS? It seemed to work, so let's say I selected this app and I run this. Let me put this app behind this other window here. Let me run this. Okay, it takes us to the foreground. So that seems to be working. Make OBS the foreground app. And then key code. I wonder if this will work. Tell application OBS. Tell key code. What's a key code that would work with this? I think I had some shortcuts set up. Let me put this in the studio mode so I can explore this a bit without changing what I'm showing. So I think I had some keyboard setups somewhere. Hotkeys. Oh wow, there's a lot of specific on and off stuff. Switch to scene. Show display. I really just want to jump to a scene. I'm looking, let me move this over here. So I'm looking at this. This is the hotkeys window for OBS. And what I was looking for was a way to switch to a scene. Switch to this, I guess it's this one. So I had this set up. Which is a really obscure key sequence. But I think it only works. So I have to, that's shift or command shift option F1 and F3. There might be an F2 somewhere in here. These are really old keybinds I had like a long time ago, and then I realized it didn't actually work. So let me put this out of studio mode. So if I do command shift F1 and versus F3, is it doing anything? I don't see anything happening. No, I didn't hit the shift key. F1, F3. So this is working back and forth anyway. As you can see, like on my over here, I'm pressing all these keys. I'm pressing F1 and F3. It's a pain in the ass, but so you need a lot of fingers to do this right. Which is why I want to use this thing, which is it's like a $40 Korg Nano Key 2 MIDI controller. I wanted to use these as buttons to be able to control stuff. And also, it's much smaller than this keyboard here. When I was doing my music experiments, I had to bring this beast out. Oh. That's what I do. Press a bunch of keys. So, if you look at this. So when I was like doing my MIDI experiments, I had to bring this thing out and plug it in. This is way smaller. And so I think it'll be much easier to use that just for impromptu experiments instead of hauling this thing out every time. I was thinking that I needed full-size keys because that would be good to imprint on, rather than getting used to small keys. But you know what? Maybe small keys are fine. We'll find out. Really, what I need to get familiar with is just like where everything is. But let's see. Command option. Oops. Function command option shift F1 and F3. But now it's not working because this is no longer the foreground application. So I had to check. Oh, maybe it is. Command option shift 3 F1. Now if I make it this, the foreground, I don't think this is going to work now. Yeah, I'm getting beeping noises because this is not receiving. But what I think it can do is that with a controller mate running in the background, it can run the Applescript to activate it and then send the key code. So let's see if we can figure this out. How do I even find out what the key code is? Applescript key codes. List of complete Applescript key codes. So what is the F1 key? This is not F1. Key code 107 and 102. Tell application system events to key code 113. Alright, tell application key 113 here. What's the difference between these? Is it the actual brightness? Top number is the function, the bottom of the F key. Okay. So screen brightness is 113. The actual function key is this. So if 122 and 99. Mer? Really? Why is it this weird order? F1 on 18, 96, 97. It might be some bizarre key. So okay, key code 120. Was it 122? 122 using shift down, assuming that these are shift down, command down, option down. Oops, was it an error? Nope, that's just set old to path of frontmost as text. What is all this? Notes opened. It's interesting. No, you just a delay, huh? Events H or list of key codes. I'll see what happens. Unexpected end of the line found identifier. Is it key code? Key code 122. Tell application OBS. It doesn't like that function. Let's see if this works. Expected end of line but found identifier. This might not be the correct syntax. What's the difference between Applescript and Automator? Is Automator an application? Low quality answer, maybe? Keystroke. Applescript key code. That's what I was just on. It's to application command key down to command key up. So it's firing events. Key code. I can tell processes too. This is very interesting. key code 125 using tell application OBS. Why doesn't it like this? Let's try it doing it on one line. End of line property found. Where is it? Tell key code is. Why is this not working? Key code one. Do you need to tell the process each time? Make OBS. Maybe I don't want to tell the application. Maybe I just want a key code afterwards. I don't think the syntax is correct. Tell application to play key code. Tell application key code 49. Tell application OBS key code 129 Intel. Expected line. Is it an issue with the way I'm doing this? No. Weird. I actually just switched my view unexpectedly. Huh. Tell app. If I just did tell application OBS nothing, it actually ends up. Well, it activated it and didn't do anything. But when I had this in it, key code 122. Unexpected end of line but found identifier. Let's try look at key code unexpected end of line but found identifier to see if anyone's complained about this very problem. Let's see. Keystroke unexpected line using is as a oh, okay. Use it was so this command, this key code command doesn't work with. It's expecting a language. The key code thing is not a generic function. It's actually part of the target that it's being invoked on. Huh. Let's see. Send key codes to applications, Applescript. Tell application activate and tell keystroke. Maybe keystroke is a general. Applescript. Application common commands. Oh, look at all this. Applescript keywords. What I want to find is the object reference. Class reference, maybe. Well, maybe not. Did this actually do anything? Oh, there we go. No. Script objects, script libraries, variables and properties, fundamentals, commands reference. Looking for a reference of what I'm wondering is if there's a common for anything that's in the application class, if there's a set of supported things like keystroke. I guess since I'm not able to find it, we'll just try it. F key, version key using keystroke. No, so tell application system events. So maybe system events is a library that actually knows how to send a keystroke to system to key code. All right, so let's try this. Tell application system events. Which seems to be, I'm guessing, is a built-in thing. Oh, maybe I need to do put 2. Alright, so if we run this, oops. Expect an end or tell we found 2. Did it do anything? Something kind of happened. It did activate OBS. Maybe I need a delay. Delay 1. It doesn't seem to be receiving any key codes. No, actually, maybe it is. Using option down, shift down, down. Oh, it actually did something. Do I need a delay? Let me switch this back. So I am here on this window, and I'm going to run this script. And it's telling the applications, it's going to put application OBS in the foreground, and then it's going to use the system events application to press, similar to key press. 122 is the F1 key. What was the F3 key? Key reference Applescript. I saw it down here someplace. 199. Let's make a list. 122 is F1. 120 is F2. 199 is F3. And I could use any other key that's not likely to press. 118 is F4. Such a weird, like, arrangement. F5 doesn't even have one. 96 is F5. So F1 through F5. Now these are awkward to type, but what I'm hoping is I can use controller mate to actually just press these keys and then send to these various scenes. Because I don't think that command sequence is being used by anything. Or I make up key codes. There's only 255 of them. But who's going to type command option shift curly right bracket, for example? No one. Those are probably unused. So let me try this. So if I do that, that's the first one. That's one script. And let's try shifting it to F3. If I change it to this, 99, save that. Now, oops, I don't want to save it. I just want to run it. So theoretically, if I type Command R on this script, it will change it to the Oxcam view, which is the bottom right. So let's see what happens. See, nothing happen. Oh, there it went. And if I change this to back to 122 and run it, yeah, so the Applescript is working. And it's selecting the application, bringing it into the foreground, and that is exactly what I need it to do. Oops, but it seems that when I'm pulling it in the foreground, it's not automatically running. This is the foreground. If I select this, the first time I tried to run it, nothing happens. what's in the... something really... maybe there's a bug in this. So let me see if it's activating. So right now this is the foreground window. I'll put it on this side so you can see what I'm looking at. So if I type Command R here, this is the foreground window. Now that's the foreground. I can tell if I look in the upper right script editor. So if I type Command R here to run it, this is in the foreground now. I can tell because the window has changed. But it didn't actually execute the command. So I'm thinking that maybe there's a delay. Let's see if that works. Yeah. Let's try that again. Let's flip this back to here, run this again. 1000. So it's probably the switch is too quick. It probably takes like a little bit of time for the application to become in the foreground. Let's try that again. So that's a quarter of a second. That's pretty fast. That would be acceptable. Let's make it back to F3. Okay, now it seems to be working a little bit more reliably. Yeah. All right, so we have learned stuff. Let me copy this into my Quiver notebook. Oops, let me change this back to display plus chat. This is the script. What was that reference I just saw? Let's copy some of these references in here. A list of Applescript key codes. That was less useful. There was that scripting reference for the Apple one. Apple commands reference. That's probably worth looking at some point. Here, what? No, I can't find anything. Discover, design, develop, support, search. Applescript. Chugging. Application service. Introduce the Applescript overview. I guess this is the official. I'm just trying to get the shortest URL for this. That wasn't it. I guess that's this whole thing. This is the Applescript reference. So we have the building blocks from doing this key switcher thing. What time is it now? It's 11 o'clock. Been doing this for about an hour. That might be a good place to stop. The next thing to do would be to look at controller mate. I just lost all my... where's my OBS window here? To switch to controller mate and just figure out how to send MIDI event keys. That's a whole another thing. But I have my my newbie introduction to Applescript. And I wonder if Automator is worth looking at. I dimly recall Automator being some kind of drag and drop interface, it looks like. What is it? Oh, it's this side again. What can Automator do for you? Let's look at Macworld UK. What is Automator? Recipes. That was 8 different types. Workflow. Let's just run this thing. Actually, oh, there is a thing called Automator. It's doing the same. Does this replace the script editor? Workflows, applications, service. This is intriguing. Folder action. Workflow. Can run within. Self-running workflows. Service. I don't think this is exactly what I am looking for. It's more of a high level thing, I think. But it can be extended with Applescript. All right. Anyway, we have the bones of some stuff now. I think we can do something with this. It just occurred to me that maybe my audio settings are screwed up again. I don't see them here. Nope, that's good. I wasn't unsure. I was worried that the delay was screwed up because I had adjusted a setting on that. But all right, so that's today's jaunt through Applescript, and I am going to get ready to go to sleep and hopefully have a much better day tomorrow, fully rested. And also need to drink the last few ounces of water so I get my 64-ounce water today. Oh, of course I don't really like drinking water. So, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow sometime.